Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back to a high-level best of 3 of StarCraft 2. Today we have Cure versus Classic, a Protoss versus Terran best of 3 between the number 3 ranked Terran in the world, Cure, and I don't know what Classic is, probably like number 8 when it comes to the tossers, number 7. He's rank 17 on the world ranking, I believe, Cure rank 8, so definitely favored for Cure here, but that doesn't mean necessarily that Cure is gonna win, of course. Classic is a player that always has spicy builds prepared. He always has something going on for him. And I'm really curious what he will show us this time. Classic is one of the few players that still feels comfortable opening up with Stargates. I think majority of the top tosses have just given up on building a Stargate. It's like, in a pretty principled way, they just don't build it anymore. They're not even trying. In a series, we're seeing triple Twilight openers. If it's a best of 3, if it's a best of 5, we're seeing also triple Twilight openers because Terran will beat the Protoss 3-0. So still get 3 games only. Either way, curious to see how Classic is going to play it out. So he's going to open up with a Core before Nexus here. Standard single gas expansion. While on the side of Cure, we're going to have a Marine first with a low ground CC. Double SCVs coming down as well. Let's take a look at that CC timing. See how long Classic can actually deny that command center from going down. So anything past 42, I always believe is very good for the Protoss player. Look at that. 50, good lord, 45, 46 seconds. Now, why is this good for the Protoss player? Simply said is because your Adept now can move across the map and potentially harass this command center a little bit. So if this is going to be an Adept, which it is, you chrono boost it, you send it across. This is going to be an interesting situation here for Cure, because he already took some damage on this SCV. If you take 5 damage from a probe on an SCV, it means you're now going to get 2 shot by the Adept. Cure is opting for a very safe Marine opener. It's going to be Marine into Reactor, into Factory. By the time the first Adept is going to arrive on his side of the map, it means 3 Marines will be out. 3 Marines versus 1 Adept is a winning fight for the Marines. So theoretically, this Adept should not be capable of doing anything right now. But Classic is still gonna try, right? This could be something else. What if it was Marine into Factory? There would only be a single Marine out, and that means that this CC would potentially be in a world of trouble. For now, it's going to be just fine. Follow-up here is going to be Sentry plus very delayed Stargate. This is a build order that we almost never see. Oh, he tried to go in, killed a Marine, got 1 shot off on the SCV, and then lost the Adept. So not a great trade. Not the end of the world either, though. It's definitely playable. Cure opting for a straight tech lab. Also rare. So both players here doing things that are kind of out of the ordinary. Cyclone as the first unit. So I guess it's going to be some type of a Cyclone drop. We're going double gate, Stargate, hallucinated Phoenix. Cure seems to be somewhat aware of it, as he has a couple of Marines here on the high ground, perhaps wanting to deny scouting. The funny thing is that this hallucination could force a Viking. Like, if you're a Terran player and you see a Phoenix fly into your base, you could go like, oh, wait a second, this might actually be Stargate. Let me get a Viking Cyclone and do some type of push. Then all of a sudden Protoss is in a world of trouble. But that's not going to be the case. No, Cure Hill will go for the double Cyclone initial medevac drop. The side of Classic, we're going to have a 3-gate plus Oracle. So Adept, Sentry, Stalker, Stalker. We don't have any follow-up tech, but... Oh. I was gonna say most likely it's going to be a Twilight Council. I had not expected the Void Ray. I absolutely did not expect the Void Ray. This is going to be a serious push-out, by the way. Fairly serious push-out. Look at this. He's just going to make sure there's no mines in the mineral line, making sure there's nothing weird at home. So he's checking with this hallucination, making sure that this Oracle is going to have free game over here. 4 Stalkers plus 1 Sentry Guardian Shield. Do we have an energy recharge available? No, we don't. This is a little bit scary, but with triple gate production, I do believe that Classic eventually is going to be fine. At the same time, this Oracle is dealing quite a bit of damage on the other side of the map. I'm a huge fan of the build that he played here. Void Ray is going to get taken out pretty much instantly as well, as I don't think this is necessarily an even trade, because I believe that this trade was better for Cure. However, tech-wise, he's very late on the extra barracks. And what do we have tech-wise on the side of Classic? Well, we also have nothing. It's going to throw down a robotics facility, even worker count. Usually not a great sign for the Protoss players. 5 Stalkers now move across the map. There is a tank, there is a full wall, so this is not going to succeed. Very odd opener though here out of Classic. Oracle into Void Ray, and now I saw him build a Phoenix, but he cancelled it. He's now going to follow this up with Forge, Twilight, Robo. So he's getting every single tech structure. I'd be shocked if this was a Robo Bay. But then I don't know what this is for. Is he just going to pop Immortals out one at a time? Is that his plan? It's not a great plan, and Oracle needs to be careful. Does end up getting 4 more kills, 10 worker kills total. Helps a little bit at least. Stim still about 100 seconds away from finishing. There's not even a tech lab yet on this barrack, so Combat Shield is also going to take a while. I wonder if he's just going to swap these two, or if he will want to build a tech lab on this barracks himself. I think he's going to swap these two and then get a reactor on this factory. Yeah, there we go. So right now we have 2 tanks, 3rd CC on the way. He is going to go for a Robo Bay. Charge +1. No Phoenix though. So there's absolutely nothing stopping drops from happening. A very weird setup for Classic. Classic is one of the last innovators on the side of the Protoss race. Like, Hero also is an innovative player, but he is more of a freestyle innovator. Classic is an innovator in the sense of he'll craft a build order, you know, to the finest details, and then he'll play it. And Hero is more like, let me see, how are Mars and Venus aligned today? What the hell am I gonna do over here? So different type of innovations you get out of these two guys. I much prefer copying players like Classic because it's easier to follow. There tends to be a solid system behind it. Although this time I am struggling seeing that system as well. Oracle into Void Ray. Interesting stuff. Into late Colossus, into relatively fast charge, but absolutely no air units. That's the main thing that worries me. It is actually the only thing that really worries me here for Classic is his potential difficulty of dealing with drops. How is he going to deal with drops? As he moves this Oracle towards the top side, he's barely going to miss these. No, he saw those medevacts. That is a big deal. Saw those medevacts. Stalkers immediately need to piss off, because they're not useful here in this location anymore. It's going to be capable of throwing down these rocks, as the command center will float over towards the 3rd base. I'm curious to see how Pure is going to try to play this out. Stasis Ward is going to connect. We still have an observer here as well, giving us the full rundown of what's going on over here on this army side of things. No 4th base for Classic. Usually the Protoss, the moment they feel secure in holding the first 2 medevac push out, they'll throw down a 4th base. That is pretty much the timing. There's no set timing. It's just like, okay, my early game went okay. I macroed well, didn't take any damage, killed 5-6 workers. I can probably take down a Nexus. I can probably build a Nexus here. But if you have a bad early game, probably need to delay that 4th Nexus just a little bit longer. And this is very important for Classic to do, by the way. He absolutely needs to match where this army is going, because the moment drops can start heading into the main base, he's going to be in trouble. No Blink, no Phoenix, no Void Ray, no nothing. It is going to be an absolute struggle over here. So Hallucination comes in. We have a couple of big mine shots. Tank will get targeted down here by the Stalkers on the left side. Zealots also connecting to this with the charge. And Classic is going to clean up this army relatively easily. I think that Cure needs to realize what the hell is going on over here. And he probably needed to start dropping a while ago. These 2 medevacs, if they were on the left side right now, I think Classic would have been in a world of trouble. Blink still really far away from finishing up. Now we're going to get a strong push across the map here with Zealot, Stalker, Sentry, Colossus. Show me what you got, little buddy. Show me what you got. Classic with the lift there on the Zealot, trying to dodge that mine shot. Now is busy fighting a depot rather than his opponent's army. Still looking pretty solid in this game though. 2nd Forge coming up. This base undersaturated as he enters into the natural. Big mine hits connecting with a lot of these Zealots as the bunker is blocking a lot of his movements. This is very awkward. He tries to force field his opponent out but misses the force field. Cure still is going to lift over it. Will drop on top of these Colossus over here, but I think these Colossus might have just dealt a little bit too much damage, and I think these Zealots clearing all of the ground units also is just too big. Zealot Warpin is going to get cancelled, but that is honestly probably a blessing in disguise, because Classic just needs to stay at home and defend. He does not need to continue attacking. This Zealot attack is a little bit wild even to me. He's building 2 Colossus at a time. He has the double Robo, 8 gateways, double Forge. If we get 2 extra warp-ins in, I think life is going to be okay. The moment these zealots run in, Cure needs to pull these workers and just send them with the attack. Running back here would be the worst thing you can do. Absolutely the worst thing you can do. There's no reason ever to go back. And Cure realizes he knows what type of a desperate position he's in. As long as he manages... as long as Classic manages to stay alive here, he's going to be just fine. He can lose this base, no problem. This CC does need to be lifted. There we go. Could potentially full wall this with a second eBay, but Cure does not seem to be too keen on that in general. Disruptor in a little bit of trouble. 4 sentries coming out with big force fields. 2 of them will fall before anything really happens. There's still 2 Vikings in the mix as well. Cure's actually going to deal a lot of damage, killing a lot of these workers. If he takes out the 3rd base, that could be an issue. I said you can lose 1 base, but 2 base? I don't think so. I think Classic accidentally had walled himself in, as this base is gonna fall as well. Now we have this push out. Let's see how the micro is here. Marines on the right side, Marauders in the front. Colossus trying to deal damage on those Marines. Will take him out. Battery in the back is helping out, but this Stalker Colossus army is very freaking small. Zealots now moving back. Perhaps should have been back home already to help defend the 3rd base. I think Classic might have been capable of doing it then. Now we're in this weird situation where Classic has more workers, but less bases. Classic also has a smaller army, but slightly better upgrades. And I think he also has a slightly higher quality army. He has 3 Colossus against only 2 Vikings. But the Viking count is going to continue growing. Medevac count is actually phenomenal, and the Marauder count is very big. So attacking into this will be tricky. I think sentries will be a nice tool to have, as the first ghost is about to hit the field. That is the first ghost, right? Yeah, I haven't seen any quite yet. 47 workers have gone down. The 2 Nexi is the much bigger deal here, as we now see Cure actually outmining his opponent by about 600 minerals. And here comes a battle. I wonder what the plan for Classic is going to be. Cure wants to know where his opponent is hitting. We'll now see this force. How many Vikings does he have? He has 4 Vikings against 4 Colossus. The micro here is going to be really tricky for Cure. He does not want to send his stim too early. Get a blink forward, snipes 1 Viking, snipes a 2nd Viking. That is a huge deal as we get a big stim forward. Nice control here out of Classic, but this concave is looking very spicy right now for the Marauders, as the Colossus are gonna get cleared most likely. There's still a Viking in the sky. Zealot warping comes in clean. Another Zealot comes in. We still have 1 Viking remaining. The control with the Prism is good. Can the Stalker take out the Viking before the Viking takes out the Prism? The answer is going to be no. More Stalkers do need to be warped in, but I just don't think this is going to be good enough, as Cure just barely manages to hold on over here. And I think, theoretically, that is going to be it, no? I just don't really see a way for Classic to hold the incoming attack. It's gonna build a couple of force fielders. It's gonna try to take out these rocks. Could potentially energy recharge. Yep, there we go. One of these sentries as he gets his energy back. But good luck with that energy. It's not going to be super useful. Pick up there wasn't great on the Colossus. Viking is gonna get taken out. Can we get a Guardian Shield? No, a couple of force fields instead. Another Viking is gonna show up, and this Colossus is so close to dying. I just don't think it can stay alive. Battery's about to finish up here as well. Very good control with the Prism, but yeah, there's too many Marauders here. Viking as well, still absolutely uncontested, and that should be it here for Classic, who tried so hard and got so far, but in the end he lost game number 1. And game 2 will be played over here on Whispers of Gold after that sad ending for Classic. I bet he's wondering how he's going to change things up. I actually really did like his build order though. The fast sentry into Oracle. And it's cool to see the Hallucination being used for something else than just straight up tech scouting. It also definitely was used to see whether his Oracle could go in and deal damage. And deal damage it sure did. Sentry, Adept Sentry, Stalker, Oracle into Void Ray. That was the build order. I mean, that was cool as hell. Let's just, call a spade here and call it out for what it is. It was cool as hell. Yeah, we're gonna get a reactor after this first Marine. Let's see what Classic is gonna do. I am expecting an Adept first here out of him. Didn't quite have enough cash to start it for whatever reason. It's not throwing in that Warp Gate either, so that smell... Okay, it's gonna throw in that Warp Gate now. It smelled to me like it was gonna be a Stargate opener. Usually when you get these delays on the Warp Gate, that's gonna be the case. I would love for him to open the exact same way. So like Adept Sentry and then maybe have a a slight variation in the opener. That could be something that's cool, but it's not going to be the case. Instead, we're going to go into Twilight Council, Adept opener. Very standard. We've seen this a million times already. That doesn't make me any less excited for it, though, to see how Cure is going to respond to all that. Factories coming in, second refineries coming in as well. We have the CC on the low ground, of course. We're going to have plenty of Marines to deal with the first Adept. Ooh, and still a Sentry as a follow-up. So it's going to be Adept into Sentry with a quick Twilight Council. Now, I wonder if you actually have enough gas. I don't think you do to start the blink instantly here on the Twilight. If you do follow it with one of these, one of them Sentry bad boys, yeah. It's going to be a bit of a gas gap over here of about 30, 40. So you're going to have maybe, what is it, like a 6-second delay on blink here because you built that Sentry. Now, why is it still cool to build a Sentry? Because you're going to get a lot of info with that Sentry. You're going to know, hey, is this going to be a mine drop? Is it? No, it's once again just going to be that Cyclone play. Is that 2 kills here on that single Adept? Oh, he lost an Adept. Oops, never mind. Never mind. Never mind, good sir. He's not even energy recharging this, by the way. He's just straight up going in with the Sentry halfway across the map, wanting to use that Hallu. Looking for a scout. Blind battery, which is honestly, it's not just kind of weird, it's really weird, right? You see that your opponent opened up with reactor first, and you're gonna get a full scout here with the hallucination. So if you were to scout this, you see this Cyclone coming in, I probably would want to build a battery, but if you were to start the battery right now, it still would just be in time for this incoming drop. So I'm surprised to see it kind of built there blindly. That is a bit shocking to me. Either way, it's going to be double gate, triple stalker, into Nexus, I guess? Is that the plan? Skip on the Robo. Beautifully greedy here out of Classic. As he saw no fast Cloak Rush and responded in this manner. I'm a huge fan of this. We have no chrono on this Twilight Council, by the way. That does scare me a little bit as the Cure Cyclone +4 Marine comes in. Gonna get a pickup on that. And the follow-up is going to be a Raven. Second barracks, Raven. Nexus on the way. Are we still going to get a late Robo here? Yeah. I think this is correct, just so you can eventually still get that Prism out on the map. Because I think Prisms are huge. You also want to have the ability to transition into Colossus eventually. You're going to get another hallucination out on the map right now. A couple of Stalkers moving across. Raven, I think, is staying at home. What is the scouting that Cure has gathered? Not a whole lot. Isn't aware on the timing of the third base. Doesn't know what the gas count is. Doesn't know the initial gate count either. So we're seeing a relatively safe Cure here. Double tank as an opener. Might add a third tank, but ideally for Cure he doesn't. So this should be a swap of the factory onto the barracks, or barracks onto where the factory is, so you can start using that tech lab. Every tank you build tends to delay your initial push out a little bit. Makes everything just a little bit worse. There is nothing here in the natural to defend. No tank, no Marines, and that's going to cost Cure 2 SCVs. As we do see Classic blink out successfully over here. 2 Stalkers, 1 Sentry to deal with this. 4 Stalkers to deal with stuff at the front. And that really is going to be the Stalker count over here. Look at that. 6 Stalkers total. Straight into higher gateway count. I'd love to see a Robo Bay being added in here as well. I think getting a Robo Bay here would just be the correct play. It absolutely would be the correct play. No doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind. Okay, Command Center coming up in the main base here for Cure, who's most likely going into a more passive style. Usually if you see the CC before the first 2 medevacs are out, we're not really focusing on full unit production. And we're more focusing on getting our eco up a little bit quicker. We're also skipping a couple of Q-ups over here for whatever reason. As this drop comes in, it's going to clear 4 or 5 workers. It's actually, honestly, a decent haul, but so late in the game, I'm not sure how impactful that is going to be. As the auto turret's also going to get 3 kills. Yep, 3 kills on that first one, and perhaps a couple more on the second. Nope, Raven is just going to die, and this bad boy is going to get cleared. You need 6 Stalker shots in order to deal with an auto turret. So if you have 3-3, that should honestly just be good enough. Double drop now heading out towards the bottom side, as there's really no vision for Classic on this side of the map. Does have an observer over here. Not sure if it's going to provide enough vision though to stop these 2 bad boys from coming in. Ooh, actually there's a full-on unload. Combat shield, concussive on the way, +1 attack as well on the way. That is mighty interesting if you ask me. That is mighty interesting. Immortal's gonna get chrono. That's the second Immortal as well. There's a high Stalker count out on the map. Uh-oh. Take a look at the first person here for Classic, because this is going to be extremely important for him. Hasn't seen the first two medevacs. Now sees the scan in his main base as well as the unload. Probably wants to send his ground army over there to deal with it. The micro here on the drop so far hasn't been great. I think more probes definitely could have fallen had Cure been focused on that just a little bit more. Eventually these medevacs are going to get cleaned up most likely. Classic not even really paying attention to it. Guardian shield is good. Sentry micro was correct as well. So he now sees this tank push moving in forward. An okay defense, but the overall situation not quite as great. And I love that Cure is just going back here. He says, hey, we're actually even workers. I don't think you have a fort base. Why should I be attacking you? The moment I get triple mules running on this third, I'm going to be outmining you by 500-600 minerals a minute. Sounds good to me. And it does sound good to me as well. Look at that, 63 workers to 59. Yes, Colossus are... Actually, are they even on the way? No, we don't have any Colossus out yet. We're going to go for Disruptors first. Disruptors are almost always a desperation call if it is what you're starting with. The Colossus is the unit you really care about. You want to get those out ASAP, but if you will have to build into Colossus after Viking production has already started, that's usually not a great sign, as two Zealots are going to get picked off for free here as well, and Cure is perhaps straight up walking to a victory here, as I don't really see a way for Classic to hold this here whatsoever. There's a bunch of units in the main base. These are going to come down. Disruptor shot comes in. It's going to clear that mine at least. That's nice, but I don't think that's going to be everything either. I mean, this is a really bad army. Very Stalker heavy. There's 2 tanks in the back. Marauder count is decent as well. Well, we do have a big Zealot drop though in the main base. This could change things up a little bit, because this could force Cure's hand. This could force Cure into this Disruptor position. I don't think Classic needs to go, but he's gonna go for it. Double Purification Nova is gonna clear both of these tanks. Beautiful move. Set of Force Field is good as well, as he's going to clear a couple more of these Marines. 12 workers going down at the same time. I thought the Zealots were going to pretty much be kind of the end play here, forcing Cure into this position, but actually Classic used that opportunity to clear 2 tanks with a nice Purification Nova there, smack bang in the middle. Beautiful stuff. At the same time though, drop heading in towards the main base. That is a quad drop for which Classic is not ready. Does he have a recall available? Yes, he does. Thank God, because without that recall, I think this main base would be absolute toast. With that recall, perhaps he's going to be capable of doing something. Ooh. That was a scary small recall, by the way. That is the type of recall that if Cure actively stims on top of that, it might just end up dying. But it's a big risk to take. Now we have more Zealot run-bys coming in. Couple heading in towards the natural, not really being micros. They start smacking the bunker, as well as this one Marauder that's next to it. Cure is not going to be taking too much damage over here. Fort base for Cure is on the way, as his +2 has started. And I hope his second eBay, is here as well. And there we go. +2 armor coming in. Ghost Academy has finished up as well. We're still only on 5 barracks, so that means that production isn't necessarily brilliant, but hopefully it's going to be good enough. Hopefully this is going to be good enough. We're once again going in with this 4 drop, but I mean, there's 16 Stalkers ready. It's crazy to me that, well, 16 is like 9. It's crazy to me that Classic is so keen on keeping this many units in his main base, rather than giving himself some vision and maybe being a little bit more flexible with that unit positioning. For now though, it's absolutely fine, but if this army was on the right side and you have like, what is this, like 25 supply in the main, that could be an issue, and this is exactly what I was worried for. It's basically Cure hitting the right side and going, hey, maybe you need to pull your units there, and then maybe I can drop in your main base. Luckily, Stalker Zealot is still relatively nearby, so it won't be the end of the world, but this could have been way worse. Kind of lucky here for Classic that Cure decided to go in right now, and despite that, this is still an okay trade, absolutely, for Cure. As long as he manages to get out here with some of these medevacs, I think this will be fine. He really does need to send these guys home. No reason to lose that. Disruptor shots coming in. One is going to hit. Second is going to, not really hit at all. There's 2 more Disruptor shots where that came from. Classic with some interesting micro over here, just running in forward. Purification Nova now is going to hit double Ghost as well. Disruptors are completely empty, but this was just before infantry weapons level 2. And this third base is going to get lifted. Classic actually is going to take a win over here. Main base is still being attacked by that same drop, as the +2 finishes up after the battle has pretty much finished as well. So it's fairly unfortunate here for Cure, who doesn't have a whole lot of pressure on the map. Lost 25 workers, which puts him in an atrocious position here when it comes to the eco. His extra barracks finally finish up, but he doesn't have the resources anymore to use those extra barracks. Yeah, I was gonna say, this should be an orbital right now rather than a planetary, because he cannot economically... it doesn't economically make sense to turn this into a planetary. Like, you're defending a base that is not going to be mining otherwise. You're just going to need those mules for at least the 200 extra mineral income. Going to get another drop into the main base. Is this observer going to move in position in time? I don't think it will, but perhaps Classic has different plans anyway. He's going to clear these rocks and move through. I think that should be the main plan. Or he's just going to move through instantly, see if we can clear anything here. We don't have any units in the main though. That could be a little bit scary, as this is a quad drop once again, heading in over here. Bunch of these probes are gonna fall. This orbital is dead. Do we have enough units at home to deal with anything? I think the answer is no. No, actually. It's a clear no as well. We don't have enough units to deal with anything, as this force is gonna move into the natural. And there's still decent army supply here for Cure, by the way. 80 in total. He managed to stop this Colossus from finishing up. 52 out of 54. We have a drop on the right side as well that's going to clear a base. We have more and more probes actually falling down. And attacking up a ramp can be quite tricky. If this army is being microed correctly behind this depot, that would be a very big deal. We get an EMP here on all of those disruptors. 2 more Purification Novas coming in forward. As we have pure probes over here. 45 workers to 15. We're going to get a recall. That is the correct call here out of Classic. He's denied a lot. Really, a lot of mining. And now is going to go back home to try and defend. Army supplies are pretty close. Colossus are going to finish up, and that's going to be a game changer. These 2 Colossus will be the game changers that Classic needs. Even without it, it would have been very hard for Cure, but those 2 will absolutely secure him the victory here in game number 2. Disruptors coming in will clear majority of this army. There's a lot of stuff still in the main base, but it's completely split off, and Cure isn't really using it. It's going to try to lift into the main base, but yeah, I don't think that's really going to work out. Colossus can... join up at any point as well. One of these medevacts is going to fall. Another Stalker gets warped in, and it's 45 workers to 15. Yes, we do have 3 orbital commands, which is probably the equivalent of, what, like 10 workers or so, but it's still 45 to 25. And we see the difference in income, right? 1,600 minerals to 200. That is a pretty big difference, percentage-wise, but also just in absolute numbers, which might even be more important right now. 2 Marauders are being added into the mix. I guess it's the only thing really that Cure can afford. I feel like Cure doesn't really understand how bad his position is. I feel like Classic does understand how good his position is. He's just going to walk across the map, gets the first orbital command, is going to get the second one as well. And ladies and gentlemen, I do believe that that is going to be it for this second game. Cure is going to once again go for the base state, and I appreciate that, I really do. It's the only chance that he has, obviously, but it's really a very, very small chance, or perhaps even no chance at all. We're going to have a new recall available relatively quickly as well. We have probes that are being evacuated, so even in the scenario of a full-on base trade, you're going to be working against someone that will have a Nexus available, as well as like 20 probes or so. You're going to need to attack into that. The hard reality of things here, and I think Classic realizes that, and he's doubled the army supply. I also believe he has better upgrades here, right? Yeah, it's 3-1 to 2-2 is actually fairly similar. I wouldn't necessarily put it in anyone's favor, but yeah. Cure's out of bases, and all the Classic needs to do is not absolutely wet the bed. So he just needs to move in position with his entire army, and he will be just fine. Where did those Colossus go? Okay, both of them are over here in this. I mean, there's 0 Vikings, 18 Marauders, 9 Marines. This is going to be mission impossible, but then actually impossible. Setting up for a big flank, knowing that the ball is in his court, Cure that is, because he has no mining anymore. He needs to attack into this. It's even pulling the probes to help out over here. As long as he keeps 1 probe alive, this is going to be fine, because there's no orbital command. And yeah, I mean, this is as one-sided as it's ever going to get, right? Disruptor shots aren't even really being used. Now we're going to get a couple, but yeah. 98 supply to 37. And Cure here should realize that despite Marauders being very powerful, they're not going to be capable of winning this battle. I really do appreciate Cure trying his, his best. That's what my coach always told me as well when I play football. You know, Kevin, you're pretty shit, but at least you always try very hard. Thanks, coach. I appreciate the words of encouragement. And it is true. I was god-awful at football. Kier isn't god-awful at StarCraft 2, but that last game, it didn't really matter how good he was at the game because he was freaking dead. I think, now this is my expert analysis here, is that Classic got a little bit lucky in the previous game. And I know that sounds unfair to say, but I think a lot of his moves were not really based on information, but they were just based on, like, for example, the thing with the Stalkers in the main base. He has like those 12 Stalkers in the main. If Kier's entire army is on the far right, I think Classic is just going to lose the entire far right. Or if Kier waits like 10 seconds longer with that quad drop heading into the main, I think Classic also just loses the game. Like, there's a lot of small moments where I think Classic was unaware of what was happening, and there was a little coin flip happening without Classic knowing that, and then that coin landed, boom, right in his favor. It's like, oh, heads again, that's phenomenal. Because I always pick heads. Like, yeah, that's great. That is absolutely great. But if I'm being honest, I think so far Kier has just been playing better in this series. Like, he just has been showing some really high-level gameplay. He really has. And what is this build order, though? It's Reaper first, into Tank Raven, double barracks. Kier really out here trying to provide us with the most boring gameplay imaginable. He's going to have a 0 harassment ability. This is a pure 3-gate blink anti-build. So you rush out tanks, anticipating someone to 3-gate blink rush you, and then you counter-attack with a Raven. That is your plan. Sadly, this doesn't work as well against a dude that just hallucinate scouts you every single game. So it's a weird build order choice. It's a build order choice I don't quite understand. I'm gonna see an eBay come down here soon, I can only imagine. I can only imagine. Right, guys? Like, look how fast his second tank is going to be. That is insane. So usually the 3-gate blink would hit in about 20 seconds from now, if you're hitting it fast. Like, what are you gonna do? I guess you could still blink on top of this bunker, but I mean, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be very, very difficult. This is such a safe setup that 3-gate blink should not be capable of really doing anything. We're gonna have some Raven harass as well coming in. So you have like this counter attack. 3 Stalkers are great against Raven, by the way. I learned this recently, but if you have 3 Stalkers, you 2 volley an auto turret. I never actually did the math on how many shots you needed to kill an auto turret. And then I saw someone, I think it was MaxPax, defending with 3 Stalkers and 2-shotting the auto turret. Like, whoa, wait a second. Is that why we use 3? Is that the reason why? And I think it might be the reason why. Look at this. He's well set up here to deal with a Raven coming from the bottom side. Sadly, that's not where it's going. Pylon over here also providing quite a bit of vision. We have 2 more gates going up in the main. Oh, we have 5 more gates going up. I mean, this early game is as easy as it's going to be from the Protoss side of things, right? If I'm a Protoss player, this is what I would like to do. Like, just kind of sit there and build crap. Like, get my 8 gateways out ASAP. You know what I think is correct here? I think the correct play is to go Nexus plus RoboBay here. This is 100% what MaxPax would do right now, before getting any warp ins. So many Protoss players, they get warp ins, and then they get the fort base. I think, and MaxPax thinks, fort base and then the warp ins. If you have a very stable game, that is. Yeah, so we're getting that RoboBay, but he's building a lot of Stalkers. It's kind of awkward to me that you're still building Stalkers at this point. Like, the age of the era of the Stalker is pretty much over in my mind. The era of the Zealot has now begun. Still no fort base on the way. We're gonna get a really late fort base. Like, eco is fine, but if you can get away with a fort because you see like this type of triple CC, I think you always should, to be honest. I think you always should. We have a cannon here as backup as well. This auto turret man has gotten a single kill so far. We're gonna get the double medevac follow-up. This is quite a powerful push out. It's gonna hit like 7 minutes in. And now you get this really awkward situation where you're not entirely sure if you can build a... Like, he's like, do I want to build a fort right now? He's attacking me. Like, I'm delaying it by so long. I probably should have built it a minute ago like Harstem said. He's like, yeah, probably should have, brother. Actually, this is going to be a stomp, no? I don't quite see how Kier is meant to win this fight. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. Do you have Colossus and Thermal on the way? If you can get any type of flank on here, that would be huge. Oh, it's just barely out of vision. Tank's gonna get a nice spot shot. Armor, maybe? Can we get some armor? I think we might be capable of doing that. Double fort. This fort is so late. This fort is so late. 59 to 62. This is the type of situation you want to avoid as a Protoss, where you kind of get stuck on these like low 60 worker counts because you're like 4 gassing. You don't have a fort yet. Then the Terran's going to be on 60 workers and triple muling. So they're going to be outmining you big time. They really are going to be outmining you big time, and it sucks. It really does blow. Doesn't feel nice. Now I have Vikings on the way. Cure still is doing a speedrun to world's most boring opener. Did like a fake move out over here. I guess he was happy not seeing a fort base and now seeing this being late. He's like, okay, this actually kind of plays into my hand. I don't have to do anything. See, that's the difference between Cure and Clem, I think. Like, Cure will look at a situation and be like, hey, I don't have to do anything, so I won't do anything. Clem looks at a situation and says, hey, I can do something, so I will. You know, he doesn't have... If he feels like his situation could potentially be better by attacking, he will do it. While Cure looks at it like, hey, my win condition is probably just maxing out and then pushing across the map, and I could ruin that if I do something aggressive. So I'm not going to do anything aggressive because I want to, you know, have a powerful max out going. It's very different. Very different type of playstyle. It's going to be 1-1 triple ghost, 6 Viking. Yeah, 6 Viking push. Okay. I dig the vibes that we're going for here, but there's always risks when you're doing these types of move outs as well. Like, you have big Zealot run-bys that could absolutely ruin your day. It's not something we should forget about. Double auto turret here is going to get 2 kills, but it is largely inconsequential. We have 2 Vikings here in the dead space as well. Cure is still being extremely passive. There's no vision on this watchtower here for Cure. Or for Classic. Oh, that's -4 Zealots, plus Prism. You hate to see it. You actually hate to see it. 5th base is going to get cancelled here as well. Now you don't have a Zealot run by active on the top side of the map. Cure is absolutely feeling this, let me tell you. He has a lot of Vikings out on the map. I am shocked to not see him go for a fight. Like, if you can force out a fight right now, dude, that's banging. There's like half a Disruptor, like 2 Disruptors, 2 Colossus, nothing else. Double Prisms on the way. Do we have Prism Speed? Yeah, we do. Gravitic Drive is done. I really don't understand why Cure is not attacking. I thought he was going for a max out and just like a max out push, but he was going for a max out to take his fort base. It's not quite as common. Actually, it never happens. And now Classic, you know, added 2 more Disruptors, is moving closer and closer to that max out that he wants on a pretty decent army as well. We have double Prisms that are being set up. Could double send Prisms like through the natural into the main base or something along those lines. We have 10 gateways with 4 more on the way. Like, you basically allowed Classic to set up his dream setup. Oh, that was a really nice mine, actually. That was a surprisingly nice mine. Are we gonna go double drops here with these guys? Okay, she's gonna send a single one into the natural. I do believe Cure is seeing it. It's just gonna clear that. Oh, there goes Prism number 1. And Prism number 2 is about to die as well here, straight into the Vikings. I mean, this was just really bad. We're gonna get a big surround here out of Cure, as Cure's gonna sandwich this army, and that's a sandwich I would not want to be in. Oh no, Classic covered in bread. He is in the middle. He's gonna lose absolutely everything as Cure takes a bite out of this army. And we're never gonna see that back. Jesus. This was legitimately one of the worst fights that Classic could have taken. And he took it. He took it. He ran in there, okay? Like Indiana Jones into the temple. But unlike Indiana Jones, Classic did not come out with his units. He does have 6 bases behind this, decent facilities to reproduce his army. Good reproduction of facilities. My man Classic, let me tell you. Phenomenal. Some of the best. But, I mean, he's gonna lose this base for free. Still going to have 5 base mining, one of them being a gold. Is kinda nice. Opponent only on 4 bases, so theoretically still outmining, but his army is very, very low quality right now. Like the robo unit count is too low. I'd be shocked if Cure decides to go back. Okay, I am shocked. It feels like Cure... He almost like... He plays like an AI that wants to keep you alive, you know, but still wants to be in control. He's like, alright, I'm gonna take out one of your bases and I could probably kill your army, but I could also add Liberators and another orbital command and go for another push out 45 seconds from now with no real reinforcements in the mix. Yeah, that also sounds funkier. I mean, now the situation is already a little bit worse. The next 2 disruptors are out, 2 more are about to pop out. It seems to me like Classic is going to go for a bit of a drive-by here onto the planetary. Oh, he's going to lose everything. He's going to get sandwiched between a wall and this army this time. He has no robo units here whatsoever. If he can snipe this CC, maybe that's something. He also has a big Zealot run by here in the natural. That is a big deal. And he escapes with the Stalkers. Huge blunder out of Cure. What? He allowed his opponent to get out of there. That is a rookie move. 57 workers to 80 right now. All that Classic needs to do is rebuild his 5th base. And he's going to have a massive, massive edge. We're going to get a preemptive stim out of Cure. That is wild. A wild preemptive stim here out of Cure. More disruptors coming in, getting some big hits. Liberator sieging up, hits his own Zealots accidentally. Good lord. It's not the tightest micro that I've seen in my life, but maybe still good enough. 170 supplied to 152 reinforcements coming in for Cure. Stalkers are falling low. The disruptor count isn't big enough to zone away this army. Zealots now being warped into the battle, to the middle of this battle, and it still feels to me like Classic is going to lose this game. But boy, the Cure tried to throw it away. Ends up winning the series with a 2-1 score, and once again solidifies his position as the number 8 in the world.